Disclaimer: this video contains serious topics such as predators, SA, fraud, etc., along with one very mentally disturbed rat. Or snake, depending on how you want to call them. If you feel like you cannot handle these topics and it would be wise to leave now while you can, grab your comfort pillow and cry into the nearest corner of your room. Well, this is certainly a way to come back after months of not uploading anything because of sheer laziness, isn't it? I know I've been gone for quite some time, but I felt the need to talk about this as I simply could not ignore the shit pile that was unfolding right before my very eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, today I am going to talk about a man I once thought we could trust. A man I once thought I could respect and look up to. And today, folks, I will tear his ass a new sphincter. That man being Mamamax. You may know him, or you may not, and don't worry, I'll get into who he is for the few folks who somehow do not know who he is. Mamamax is a YouTuber who is a self-proclaimed pedo hunter, and has been respected and revered by the YouTube community for quite some time. Up until very recently, however, because his reputation has collapsed so fucking violently, it makes the Hindenburg look like a quaint firecracker. But what did he do? I hear some of you glue sniffers yell at your screens. Fear not, folks, I will reveal all the shit which has completely bombed any respect I or any other person with a functioning brain ever had for that man. And unfortunately, there's quite a fucking lot of that. In fact, I'm pretty damn sure a new shit heap worth of controversy gets pushed out almost every single day by this absolute tool. It genuinely shocks me. But where did he earn people's respect? You may ask. Well, his content a few years back was pretty normal, until suddenly a new video popped up known as Cartoon Incorporated. A video that talked about YouTube content made for children that secretly was for pedos to attract and brainwash kids. And this thing blew the fuck up! Immediately after, his reputation skyrocketed, as the few videos he would every now and then post would garner him massive amounts of respect and trust from those who were victims of predators and those who simply thought that what he was doing was right. And afterwards, he kept going with these anti-pedo videos, garnering him the self-proclaimed title of the Pedo Hunter. So, where did it go wrong? Well, he started to get a bit odd a while back when suddenly his channel was renamed and rebranded to God Cult, along with a string of videos. Now, I don't really think the videos itself, or any of the shit he babbles about for the most part in there, actually matters all too much for now compared to the absolute chaos that was about to ensue, because eventually he would not stop talking about one singular man, that being Camden Gerard Davis. First of all, what a mouthful. Second of all, he accused this man of being a pedophile, and on top of that, accusing him of being a cult leader that pretended to be a werewolf god. No, I'm not making that up, by the way. I wish I was that fucking crazy. But you can't make this kind of shit up, honestly. I would show you the numerous times that he has recently mentioned this man among many other pieces of evidence against Max, but unfortunately, he is currently a bit trigger-happy with his copyright strikes to anyone who's criticizing him, while showing clips of his videos, among other things. So unfortunately, you are just going to have to trust me here when I say that everything I say about him is almost certainly fact, in spite of him trying to cover his tracks. Maybe if he is a bit less aggressive with his strikes later on, I will put in a lot more evidence. But if I can't, you're just gonna have to live with it. But anyway, I'll come back to Davis soon. But for now, I need to talk about how he even spreads some of his content, or at least tries to. During the days of the Pick a Side YouTube hashtag that was made by Max, he actively encouraged his fans to spam and spread it far and wide, especially to large YouTubers, some of which he even showed in this video. Which, as you can imagine, is kind of annoying when God knows how many people are constantly spamming your feed. So this got him in a bit of a lukewarm water. But it's nothing compared to the things you would do later on. Trust me, folks. This rabbit hole goes way deeper than annoying spam and counterproductive advertising. Especially when you take into consideration just how much he loves to throw around accusations. Ooh boy. This is where this mess gets real nasty, real fucking fast. faster than a burning truck loaded to the brim with jet fuel traveling at Mach 10 straight into a kindergarten. Because Mr. Max here does not care about something as pathetic as proof and concrete evidence. Case in point, Moist Critical. What does Moist have to do with any of this? I wish I fucking knew, because Max has decided to sorta, kinda, maybe claim that Moist Critical was, I don't know, protecting pedos? Which, as you can tell, is quite a massive accusation to throw at Charlie. So, what silver bullet does Max have against Charlie that proves that he's bumping shoulders with the Epsteins? He didn't respond to Max in Discord DMs.
Stop ignoring Mamamax. Yeah, so here, you want me to talk about it a little bit? That rubbed me the wrong way. We talked like a month ago about like what he was working on in his investigation. And then apparently when I had COVID, he messaged me a couple times and I never saw it. And now he's taken that as me ghosting him and ignoring his very important mission. And it really rubs me the wrong way. Instead of just he's jumping to the most extreme possible explanation for me not seeing it, which is really fucking cringe. That did make me upset. There. Yeah, that really rubbed me the wrong way. I had COVID, and I barely used Discord in the first place. It was a miracle I ever even saw his message to begin with. And then I spent 12 days not doing anything online, in bed. And during that time, apparently it changed his whole framing of the video in order to make it like a Trojan horse of cancel critical, because he didn't respond to my messages and ghosted me. So yeah, that did rub me the wrong way. Good intentions, but I did not like that.
Now, I would under normal circumstances call this mental gymnastics, but honestly this is way beyond that at this point. This is the motherfucking mental Olympics! And if you thought that's where it ends, think again, because later he'd make a video where he even threatens the poor bastard. I swear, this man is becoming the Joker more and more by the day. He really seems like some edgy 14-year-old kid now that draws some vomit-inducing Sonic OCs while crying and going, "Fuck society, man! It's not fair!" But it gets way worse, because this accusation is relatively tame compared to some of the napalm he's been spitting out like it's Vietnam. Case in point 2, Magnetar, a YouTuber that accused Max of something pretty fucking huge. What is this oh so terrible thing, you may ask? Oh, I don't know. Rape, perhaps? Yeah, that's right, folks. 5 exes and several friends accused Max in Magnetar's video of having his way with all 5 exes without their consent. And before you give me the whole, "it was a malicious, coordinated effort to cancel him," take into consideration the fact that all 5 exes never even talked that much to each other before this video. And honestly, I'm willing to believe them, especially when you consider the response that Max had when confronted with this video. Could you guess what he decided to do in this quirky little quiz of mine? What's the prize? I don't fucking know. A half-eaten Pop-Tart. Just come up with something. A. He did nothing. B. Confronted the issue like a man and either had proof that it's false or apologized. Or C. Accused Magnetar of being a pedophile. If you seriously thought it would be anything other than C, you are innocent yet also ignorant to his behavior. No, I'm not making this up, by the way. He actually, after Magnetar made that video, decided to just drop a nuclear bombshell on everyone by saying that Magnetar is a kid diddler. Now, I wouldn't be upset with him doing this at all if he had actual concrete evidence to show us that Magnetar was a predator in the first place. But guess what? He didn't! At least not outside of vague evidence even I could probably forge. His evidence is some random girl saying that Mag snuck into her school, and that when he was working in the White House, he once sent her a picture of his ding-dong, which we never even get to see, by the way, so we can't even confirm if that is real. Along with DMs that could easily be forged, and according to Mag, were absolutely faked.
To me, that was a poetic ending, is that this guy who put all my exes together literally has a testimony against him, and not only by one person, it's supported by multiple people, and there are now news stories coming about that he was sneaking into his high school as an adult, eating lunch with freshmen.
But you're trying to use other people, that there was multiple people coming out against Magnetar to try to bolster your argument. But there were many more people who came out against you. So I just
without
don't understand
evidence,
don't understand.
and although
Did
the
you have
burden
evidence?
of proof was
what
on
was your
them,
evidence?
I provided the evidence.
Wait, what was your evidence against Magnetar?
Max's account and evidence against Magnetar at the time amounted to a witness statement over Twitter.
Evidence of a pedo? Max says? Trust me, bro. That is what the evidence amounts to, and honestly, this sets a very dangerous precedent for YouTube and the internet as a whole, when Max can just accuse someone of such a heinous thing like being a pedophile and possibly ruin their whole life based off of nothing but some random girl, probably fake DMs, and him saying that Mag is a pedo. That's literally it! And if you think it ends there, think again, folks, because this was not the only time he accused someone of something that he doesn't even have any real proof for. Oh, and he also decided to pull a quirky tee-hee moment by posting a picture of him having cut Magnetar's name into his arm in order to scare him. Because apparently Max has taken a few too many notes from the Joker. Again. So let's head right back to Mr. Davis, because that's where this shit show gets even nastier. Max nowadays just cannot shut the fuck up about this man, which got me real curious about whether Davis is actually a cult leader and a pedo, or if Max is pulling another Magnetar and is trying to accuse this man of something he's not. So put on your best Saul impression, because we're about to play devil's advocate. Oh my god! He made a Better Call Saul reference! Oh my god! Ooh! So, what evidence does Max have against Davis that absolutely concludes that he's without a doubt a cult leader and a pedophile? Well,
I guess the challenge for me with showing the evidence is I personally have not been walked through the evidence besides Spencer's. The survivors in the server, not all of them are as active as we would like them to be. Obviously, a lot of them have trauma. They talk about it, and that it's hard for them to actually just sit down and speak with me. But that's why I've been just asking the general public to please be patient. Like, there's a lot of things we need to wait for. I am just trying to get the word out that this is Camden Gerard Davis. This is what the accusations against him are. And it's also, you can also, like, we are fine saying this is all alleged. Like, we are fine if...
But you can't just say it's alleged now. You've been calling him a pedophile.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's not.
I'm fine doing it because I trust them. But...
Okay, but
all
you said you didn't review most of the evidence besides Spencer, though.
I reviewed the evidence. I just haven't had the context as to what it is pertaining to.
So you looked at the evidence, but you don't understand how...
Yeah, in the exact timeline, which has been just one of many reasons why it's been such a struggle to create the comprehensive timeline as I'm waiting on a lot of different things.
But you see, that's why people are inflamed with you right now. It's because you just told me in this call that you didn't properly review every single victim, and now...
So there's this family member of Max known as Spencer, which is already suspicious, might I add, who says that he's a cult leader and a pedophile and he has hundreds of victims, in spite of the fact that we never heard of any whatsoever, as far as I know. And even if there were any, I don't think they give any actual info. Again, kinda odd. And some random text of his that Max flashes on the screen of one of his videos with literally no context at all. So we don't even know what the hell those are supposed to allude to. So far, so good? Wait. How do we know that this fat tub of lard Spencer is not lying out of her teeth? I mean, besides, she said that she had to get an abortion 5 times because of him in a span of only 4 weeks. Now, I'm not an expert on the biology of women or anything, but I'm pretty sure that's fucking impossible, because you can only get pregnant once a month. Correct me if I'm wrong, and if I am wrong, then surely she must be absolutely honest about her allegations, Oh. Right. She never was in any real danger, because if she was, then explain this!
I will break your fingers.
Haven't you done that already?
True, and I'll do it again. What the...
The only theory I have that can explain this is that she was in a relationship with this werewolf LARPer, only for them to become exes. And knowing how petty Max is, well, she's probably just as petty as him, and proceeded to get Max to help her to ruin his life. That's all I'm gonna say. Again, entirely speculation. But it's one of the only ways that I can really explain why this video exists. And also, if you were in real danger, why the fuck would you go to Max and insist on going to Max instead of, oh, I don't know, the fucking police? And how the fuck would anyone fall for a cult like that? You mean to tell me that teenagers have been fucked by the internet mentally so hard that it would make Epstein blush to the point where they somehow fall for stupid shit like this? Bitch, please, don't make me laugh. This makes less sense than the mental gymnastics Max pulled to call Charlie a pedo defender for ignoring Discord DMs. So let me get this straight. Let me just really process all of this. You made an accusation towards someone that they're a pedophile, one of the most devastating things you can accuse someone of, and you didn't even give any evidence outside of vague promises twice! Jesus Christ on a kebab! How the fuck are you fine with playing the social equivalent of Minesweeper like this? You're playing with the lives of people by accusing them of something that can completely and utterly ruin their lives and careers, and also probably any relation that they have with anyone, whether they be a friend, family member, or spouse, and then you turn your ass around and pretend like you're a moral arbiter of the internet? Yeah, fuck right off with that! Speaking of morals, he also thought it would be a brilliant idea to dox the full names of both the mother and brother of Davis for the crime of being in the same bloodline as him. I guess he must have taken some inspiration from the Kim Jong family when it comes to punishing a whole bloodline for the crimes of a single person. He then thought it would be even more genius to tell his fans to go and harass them for information. And before you say, but Factualhat, he never said that they should harass them. He said, don't harass them. Look, buddy, this is basic internet shit 101. When you tell your fans negative things about someone and then send them to anything that's even slightly related to them, they will harass them. And no, saying that they shouldn't harass them is not gonna help. If anything, that just leads to them wanting to do it more. Max has been on the internet long enough to figure that shit out, so honestly, I think he knew damn well what he was doing with this. And again, this sets a dangerous precedent for YouTube and the internet as a whole. You can't just dox family members of a guy you don't like and then instruct your fans to try and get info out of them. And before you say that revealing the full name of someone is not doxing, then allow me to just pull out this little finger right here and... oh, would you look at that? It is doxing. Oh, and of course, as you've guessed by now, it gets even fucking worse! Let's talk about censorship here for a moment, because apparently Max is very angry whenever YouTube censors him, and yet he's more than willing to abuse the copyright system to nuke anyone that would criticize him. You know, I'm starting to think he really likes certain Asian countries and how they handle critique. As in, they don't handle it at all. Much like him. And if he cannot suppress you with copyright, well shit, he can always just throw a lawsuit at you like he's apparently going to do with Mudahar. First of all, he will do this because he wants $1 million to combat Davis. Which, that's not gonna happen. He's gonna pocket the money and run faster than a fucking politician on crack. And, on top of that, let's be honest, this lawsuit will never go well for Max, no matter how you spin it. And even if he's not gonna sue you, he can always sexually harass you online to shut you up too. What, you don't believe me? Well, here you go. Right here for your little eyeballs to see. This, along with the amount of times he has threatened other YouTubers like Larix that he's gonna take him down one way or the other, proves to me and hopefully to you that in terms of free speech, he's about as unbiased as a certain mustached Russian. Or German. Either one works, really. I know that by now you're sitting in your chair, defeated, probably thinking to yourself, surely this can't get worse. To which, unfortunately, I have to burst through that bubble again. It is my personal belief that not only is Mamamax one of the biggest pieces of shit this platform has ever seen, but that he is, without a doubt, a fraud who has been manipulating the real victims of pedophiles along with those who trusted and supported him for his own financial gain. Now, you may look at such an allegation and think that's a bit extreme. But unlike Mamamax, I actually have evidence. Real evidence at that. Let's first go all the way back to his video about the Japanese cult Aleph, or Aum Shinrikyo, I mispronounced that horribly, and how he was making himself a target by merely talking about this cult, and that you can keep him alive and safe by donating to him on Patreon. Of course you fucking can. Or so he says. Look, alright, I'm just gonna make it as plain as possible for you to understand. Why in the blubbering, dumb, fumbling fuck would a Japanese cult want to get rid of an American YouTuber for making a video on them? You'd think they would maybe spend more time and have higher priorities on trying to kill, I don't know, Japanese officials and enemies because they are located in fucking Japan? Looking back at it now, it's kind of silly that I and other folks genuinely believe that he was in danger or anything even close to that. But do understand, he's very good at making you believe what he says and what he shows, to the point where he could absolutely make you believe just about anything if he really tried. Well, I would give that credit more to his editor, to be honest, but he decided he would rather not be part of Max's bullshit, and thus nope the fuck out of there. So I just say, good for you, man. Good for you. Anyway, back to the main topic. Fear-mongering that your whole life is in danger from a cult for monetary gain certainly is pretty messed up. But where's this whole manipulating victims part, I hear some of you ask? To which I say, shut your ass, I ain't done explaining yet! Because in one of his God Cult videos, which have, unfortunately, as of me writing this today, which is the 21st, been deleted because he's trying to cover his tracks, but I digress. In that video, he had a QR, and said to scan it to help fight against pedos. Where did this QR code lead, you may ask? Maybe a site to combat pedos, or maybe to give victims professional help? Nah, that's silly and dumb. What it actually led to is straight to his fucking Patreon video! He really just pulled a, please, can I have a bit more? Bitch, please, the only thing you deserve more of is a flood of diarrhea for your mailbox. Which leads me to the question of him hunting pedos, or as he claims, because how many did he actually even put into jail in the first place? The answer may actually surprise you, or not, depending on how much you already know of this. Spoiler alert, it ain't much. As in, it's fucking none! Still don't believe me? Well, luckily for me, old mac and cheese here can't shut his mouth for more than 5 seconds when it comes to saying dumb shit that makes the situation worse. So without further ado, play that shit!
Have you ever gotten someone arrested?
If I have, then I don't know it.
You went on my podcast to tell me that you've got someone arrested and it was because of your video, just to be clear. Would you like to re-answer that question?
I've been emailed stuff like, hey, you got this guy arrested, congratulations.
You went on and you said, this guy was arrested, it was because of me, it was because of my video. And you told me that 2 years ago.
It's kind of egotistical of me to say that it was my video that did it. I don't know that for sure.
But then you said recently that he fled to the Philippines. So was Sonny ever arrested? Pablo Sonny? Did that ever even happen?
Yes, he did. All we know is that his last location we picked him up from was Mexico. Whether he fled to the Philippines or not, we don't know. We just know he has family there, and that's the most likely destination they would go to, just because.
But he was in, like, so he was arrested. That was.
Pablo Sonny? I don't think so. I think he got away.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, if he was arrested, I have no idea.
Why did you tell me he was arrested? You said Pablo Sonny was arrested and my video did it. Why did you lie to me on my show?
Do you have a clip of that?
Yes. It's in something I've been currently editing.
Yeah, send it to me.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. I think there's even a video on YouTube. Actually, can you just jump in the screen share? I'll just pull it over. Because somebody archived it.
I guess I can hear stuff, but I can't see anything.
Perfect. That's all you need, because the visual is a drawing. Okay, here you go. This is the 2 clips, contrasting clips of Pablo Sonny. Okay, so obviously one of them is in December 29th, and the other is, December 29th, 2021, and the other is November 27th, 2023. Okay?
Okay.
What is your primary goal is that then? There's no, what's your other
Well, I guess the question is like the Nick's getting at is like, okay, so you want to enact this change. What do you hope is the eventual result of your video?
Okay.
Of all of this.
So I know there's people out there saying I'm doing it to self-serve. I just want my video back up. I don't give a shit if my video comes back up. It did what it needed to do. That was in the video is currently in police custody. And
was that as a result of your video, or was
yes.
that prior to the video?
Yes, it was because of the video.
Right.
The video was about IMVU and this one predator. I made it about him and him alone.
IMVU is a game, right? You played the game and you exposed this guy.
Yes.
Do you mind walking me through the chain of events that led from your video to him being imprisoned?
Yeah, so I dropped the video. The end of the video is a call to action. Usually all my videos are a call to action, like find him, and we did.
So in this case, find him meant like you didn't know who he was. You wanted his doc so he could go to jail.
All we had was his face and his voice.
Right.
And out of that, I said, find him. And then within 24 hours, we found him. And then I started social engineering all of his friends to give me his information. And they did. And then we pegged him. He fled to Mexico. We found where he was in Mexico.
Wow.
I don't know if the police, he was from Canada. So I don't know if the police asked him to come back.
As all terrible people are.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if the police asked him to come back or he went on his own volition or they forced him to come back. I don't know any of those details. I just know he went back to Canada and was in police custody for a certain amount of time.
So you lied.
So that was what I was told through Instagram posts when I was in contact with his friends.
You didn't remember that until I showed you the clip? You didn't remember that, like, this is your biggest crown achievement, that you got a pedophile arrested?
I didn't remember the details, no. I just remember he fled to Mexico, all the police custody shit. That was only shit I was told. I couldn't verify any of that.
So you just got on stream and told everybody it was me, I did it, Mamamax, #1.
Yeah, that's not cool. You can let people know I think that. I mean, we literally had him in a voice call. Like, it's like the Mega Drive. Like, it's literally us saying we're 14 years old. He's saying, yeah, I want you to ride me and shit like that, to what he thinks is a 14-year-old. And we verified that by telling him, like, I don't know, I'm young. I don't know, I'm only 14. I think that should be sufficient to put him in prison. But the law says otherwise, I suppose, because as far as I know, he hasn't been imprisoned, and people have been I received an email that someone was going to talk to the deputy about why he hasn't been arrested. And I'm also actually going to start interviewing police local to me as to don't get arrested, because I know they all want to arrest them. It's just the law binds them.
So you've never actually gotten a pedophile arrested?
Not to my knowledge.
What? What are you talking about?
Yep, from his own mouth. In spite of the fact that he, in his videos, claims that he put pedos into jail, he actually admits that he does not even know if he put any in jail at all. Probably because he didn't put any in jail at all, and the few he could have maybe put in jail got away because of how badly he fumbled the situation like a bumbling sumo wrestler trying to balance himself on a rope, which kind of defeats at least half of his whole purpose, don't you think? I mean, you proclaim yourself as a pedo hunter, and yet you never actually put any into jail to begin with. For God's sakes, Chris Hansen could breathe and still be more useful than you. Speaking of being useful, let's talk about how he allegedly gets things done and how he fucks up any possible court case that he or the authorities could have charged the pedophiles with.
We are not going to court, Xylee.
So what are you doing? Just hunting them down like a deer? Is that what we're doing? What are we doing?
Have you not been listening this stream?
I know, but you loop. You loop, and then you always look to somebody else for an answer. You can't give an answer yourself.
I'm answering you.
What are you doing then? Tell me right now. I will be quiet for you to answer, and go.
So when we reached out to the lawyer, he told us it would not be beneficial to pursue a case against Camden Gerard Davis because he likely does not have substantial assets. So he recommended that we all go in person to report him to the police station that is in his jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
That is what we are
they
doing.
didn't tell you to go into the okay, is he still in the same jurisdiction that the crime occurred?
For the most recent survivors, yes.
Okay. Because I was always under the impression you have to go into the jurisdiction that the crime occurred. All right? Then yes, carry your pretty asses over to that jurisdiction and go, hey, Mr. Police Officer, I have a crime to report. Yes, that's what needs to be done.
Yes,
Hell,
that
you
is
might
what we are
even be
doing.
able, and because since, you know, COVID and stuff like that, you might even be able to do it over the phone. I don't know. Because I've only dealt, because I know you're in a different state now. You know what I'm saying? But I've had to do it. I've had to do stuff like this before on my own accord. But yes, you need to go to the police of the jurisdiction of where the crime occurred and go, hello, Mr. Officer, can you help me?
Yes, that is what we are doing.
Okay, that should have been done before all these live streams.
First of all, he claims he sends viruses to pedophiles, which is a cybercrime no matter how you spin it. He also likes to dox, as you've clearly known by now, and thinks it's perfectly fine to combat pedophiles. That's a theme you'll notice quite a lot here. The ends justify the means. And he has claimed that hitmen contacted him, offering him a discount for hunting pedophiles. I don't think I need to tell you this. Actually, maybe I do. But hitmen do not do that. In fact, they charge you a premium. And, by the way, I don't think I need to tell you this, but merely hiring one can get you, at minimum, 10 years in prison. And if he actually succeeds at his job and kills that person, well, shit, you're fucked. You'd think someone as genius as him would be able to come to the conclusion that committing crimes to catch pedos and blatantly admitting that he committed them is kind of a bad look when you end up in a courtroom. But who cares, right? It's all about justice, or so he claims. But really his ideal of what justice is more warped and twisted than the housing market. And if that is already incompetent enough for you, then I got bad news, buddy, because it's about to get so much worse, in spite of the fact that we are already at rock bottom. Hell, he's practically digging through bedrock at this point. But alas, we've now come to the final piece of this pile of feces, the creme de la crop, the piece de resistance. That being his videos. By now, I can probably predict what is going through your head right now. And that is, wait. If he is constantly lying about so many other things, then what if his videos are fake too? To which I say, ding, 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 bingo, my friend, because yes, his videos are, and spell this with me here, F-A-K-E. And if you still, at this point, do not believe me, then I don't know what to say. Outside of, roll the tape, He-Man!
So I want everyone, when you watch my video, to assume everything is fake, except like when I show a pedo's face and what they're doing. Like, because obviously that's all real. And that's why we include like Mega Drive links to show like, this is the full evidence. This is all real. Everything else should be considered fake, whether it's real or not. So I want everyone, when you watch my video, to assume everything is fake, except like when I show a pedo's face and what they're doing. Like, because obviously that's all real. And that's why we include like Mega Drive links to show like, this is the full evidence. This is all real.
Have you ever gotten someone arrested?
If I have, then I don't know it.
What? What are you talking about?
And there you fucking have it! You know, I honestly wish I was this good at making shit up. Honestly. I don't have to, because this bumbling idiot keeps opening his mouth and saying shit he never should have. But we are at this point arriving at the inevitable question of, if he never put any pedophiles into jail, and all of his videos are just 90% fiction with the other 10% not even being anywhere near associated with him, then what the fuck have we been paying him money for? He's more useless than a communist in Wall Street, and he knows it. Which makes it all the more fucked up that he keeps going with this lie of his anyway. Because as long as he can keep the illusion going, then all these real victims and people thought that he would do the right thing will keep lining his pockets with that money that he will never use for combating pedophiles, because he never actually even tried to combat pedophiles. He simply makes up a fairy tale that he can get people to give him more money. And what he uses that money for, I can only assume is his own leisure. My friends, this is the modern reincarnation of the snake oil salesman who promises a miracle to you for the low, low price of $5 a month to his Patreon. And he knew what he was doing since the very beginning, because even his cartoon incorporated video, his first anti-pedo video, is more fake than the asses of the Kardashians, because the so-called subliminal message uses the same letter font as his text in all of his videos. To claim that this is a coincidence is to claim that Biden is still very capable of running America. Or even just running in general, actually. And this proves that even all the way back then, he was faking it. And don't claim it's innocent because what person decides to make a fake video about Elsagate instead of, oh, I don't fucking know, the tsunami of Elsagate content that was already around at that point in time? I could say more about other things he's done, but honestly, I think this kind of wraps it up nice and pretty. I think you could tell at this point that I'm kind of fuming and boiling, which, yeah, I am. It breaks my tiny shriveled heart to see a man like him pretending to be this morally good, upstanding guy who cares for those who are most vulnerable, and yet turns his ass around to be a manipulative bastard who only cares for his own inflated ego and wallet. If I had to make a guess on what he will do next, seeing how his whole reputation in business is self-destructing faster than your average African economy, he will likely take off and win as much money as he can, which explains the $1 million he wants for Mudahar. Only to fuck right off and never be seen on the internet again. And as much as it hurts to say this, I don't think he will face any real major consequences for his actions, as he will simply fade off the internet with all the cash he can scrounge up. As much as I don't want that to happen, it's a very real scenario that might actually happen. To those who are real victims of pedophiles and have been manipulated by Max, you have my sincere condolences for what he has pulled, and I truly hope for you that he faces justice for his greed. As to what my personal opinion is on this, well, I only have this to say. Max, you are the most vile rat I think I've ever seen on this platform. You are almost as bad as those you claim you hunt, and you have not only lost my respect, you genuinely disgust me when I merely look at your face. And to you, I only have one thing to say at this point. Fuck you! And with that depressing part done, we arrive at the end of the video. I hope this was informative for you. I would have liked to work on this video for a bit longer, especially when it comes to editing, but the thing is, this drama was moving at such a breakneck supersonic speed that I had to get this out as soon as possible, because every single day, up to 5 new things pop up with this guy, and I would have to pull all that, and then put that in the script. Of course, this would be a complete and total nightmare if I didn't work fast enough. Which is why I had to work at such a lightning pace, and thus not really put as much work into editing this as much as I would have liked. But with all that aside, I only really have one request for all of you. Donate to my Patreon! No. Okay, seriously though. Please, consider sharing this video. Not because I want more views, but because we need to let every single person that will listen know about how this man should not be allowed to get away with the crimes that he has committed. With all that said and done, I've done enough for now. And with that, I take my leave. Goodbye, for now. Oh, and one last thing. Inevitably, new shit is going to pop up because of how fast this drama is constantly developing. So at that point, I will keep watch of this controversy and post updates in the description of the video. Outside of that, I don't think a second video will be necessary unless some major development later on deserves a new video. Outside of that, again, thank you for watching and have a nice day.